So I want to start by saying no, RLUSD will not replace XRP. As a matter of fact, I think RLUSD is going to bring tremendous benefits to the entire XRP ecosystem. That's going to be our focus for this episode. I'm going to attempt to show you the doors that are now open for Ripple after they decided to jump into this nearly $200 billion stablecoin market. Before we dive into things really deep, we have to address some recent news in regards to XRP. We had another ETF filing come out yesterday. Tried to get this episode out yesterday. Life was lifing. Y'all know how they go. But Wisdom Tree has joined the race for Spot XRP ETF as fourth filing amid impending SEC leadership change. I posted the link to this article in the community tab yesterday. Feel free to check that out once you get the chance. But I want to keep our focus on this stablecoin. I told you guys that I would be covering it extensively since they made the announcement, because we on this channel understand the importance, the potential, the power behind stablecoins. I just read this morning DTC Pay, a very long-standing crypto, we'll call them fintech, because they do exchanges and a number of other things out in Hong Kong, but they decided this morning to strictly go stablecoins. Getting rid of Bitcoin, getting rid of Ethereum, we're only doing work with stablecoins. It's a small thing, but it should illustrate to you the changes that are coming in this market. Now, before we dive too deep into this, a couple things. One, let me introduce myself. My name is Wade. You're listening to another edition of the DHN Crypto Podcast. I've been in the space since 2019, and I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. The main reason I sit here in front of this camera and talk to you is to give you all of that knowledge, because it's not being talked about. All I ask in return, you hit that like button. But please, don't do it for me. Let's do it for crypto. Or in this case, let's do it for XRP. And while you're at it, I got something for you. The DHN Crypto Starter Kit in these 6 pages will save you, years of time. Took me years to collect all of these links and these resources and these ideas that I'm sharing with you. Like the 5 verticals of crypto. These 5 verticals, simply a way to define what comes from this space, the different sectors, things like that. A criteria to research your own assets. Again, I'll be the first to tell you, you don't ever have to buy anything we discuss on this channel. Our conversation over here is the new financial system and the cogs that fit along with it. But I give you this criteria to send you out on your own and equip you on your journey. You'll also get various links to crypto ecosystems to give you an idea of the good and the bad, links to various analytic sources, as well as news outlets. Again, it's absolutely free. There will be a 2025 edition. Expect that in the coming weeks. And yeah, let's jump into this story, guys, because it's probably been touched before. A lot of XRP content creators out here, but I always try to give you a perspective that isn't always looked at. That's my thing. So let's get started here. Eleanor Trunette, courtesy of Fox Business, put this out on the 29th. So yes, a few days have passed, but the headline is that this RLUSD stablecoin is set to launch tomorrow. Today is the 3rd. So if you happen to come across this episode after the launch, let us know how things went. I'll definitely be doing an update if we have something official tomorrow morning. But Eleanor states, people close to the matter say the New York Department of Financial Services has indicated to Ripple it will approve the product, and the company is eyeing a possible launch date of December 4th. If approved as expected, Ripple will be allowed to legally offer its stablecoin called RLUSD to the public, positioning it as a major player in New York's regulated digital finance market and the wider stablecoin ecosystem. So as they're going to break down further down in the article, this is going to give Ripple and that stablecoin the same type of legal clearance that Circle, Paxos, and Gemini already has. And in a minute, we're going to take a look at those 3 stablecoin issuers, because they have innovations of their own that I think will be one of the many hurdles that Ripple is going to have to jump over once they launch this stablecoin. But as they continued here, by issuing a regulated stablecoin, Ripple will be able to offer a steady alternative to XRP For customers who want to use digital currencies without exposure to volatility and regulatory uncertainty, the move will also put Ripple in direct competition with other established U.S. stablecoin issuers such as Circle, Paxos, and Gemini. So a lot of people, pointing back to the Reddit post here that I found, a lot of people are fearful of what RLUSD will do on the influence of XRP. Well, if the price action recently isn't enough to convince you this is a good thing, well, I'm going to also show you examples of other networks we are familiar with that have incorporated stablecoin products into their ecosystem and how much value has come from it. That is what I believe is on the table for the XRP ledger, for the XRP community with the introduction of this stablecoin. Now, there's one more piece here. I like how this was written because this gives us an idea of what the NYDFS's position is in all of this. They're known for its stringent approach to crypto regulation, ensuring that companies want to offer digital assets meet a high regulatory bar, including fulfilling transparency, security, and consumer protection requirements. Obtaining a limited purpose trust charter, which is what Ripple is expecting to get tomorrow, which Paxos and Gemini have done, is one way for businesses in New York to offer specific services pertaining to digital assets without being subject to more complex regulatory requirements of a traditional bank. There is also something called a bit license, which Coinbase and Robinhood, they also have. And to that point, I remember reading a headline a few days ago, Robinhood, Coinbase, and Kraken, they're forming some type of stablecoin group. I'd have to double check that for sure, but I could easily see Ripple getting involved here. Because something else that this does, yes, it puts you in direct competition with the likes of Circle, Paxos, and Gemini, but then you can also network with these other ecosystem players. I believe that. Let's not forget about Ripple's association with the DREC Alliance and the fact that those other networks, Algorand, Hedera, Cardano, have very strong stablecoin ecosystems. And on top of that, I found this too. They burned a few of these tokens a couple days ago, right around the same time that this news came out. Ripple burned a staggering 46.67 million tokens, leaving only 100,000 per chain. Now, that was reported on the 28th. And you guys know we've been following that chart on Crypto Quant that is giving us the supply. Holy Moses, ladies and gentlemen, this is real time. This is a real time discovery. December 1st, 10 million RLUSD have been minted on the XRP ledger. 40 million as it stands today are on Ethereum. So initially my theory was that because in the last episode that we did on the Ripple stablecoin, we got a clip from Senior VP at Ripple, Senior VP of Payments or Stablecoins. I'd have to double check. But he basically told us that the RLUSD would be at first focused on enterprise clients. So I had assumed that the burning and the minting testing that we're seeing right here on this chart was to essentially get the kinks out, work the system, so that way they can provide a more exclusive stablecoin offering for these enterprise and institutional clients. So let's say, for example, they come to Ripple and they have an application, and the application that they want to build requires a stablecoin as the conduit. They can either pick Ethereum or they can pick the XRP ledger. Because I think Ethereum is close to reaching a point, not of max capacity, but it's swelled to the point to where I think now other chains like XRP have the opportunity to get a shot, because you can go and build your app on Ethereum, but with current market conditions, you got to deal with those gas fees. You got to deal with congestion. It's a whole lot that comes with it. With the XRP ledger, you don't have that much. You don't have that. You know. So I'm very curious to see where this goes, guys. And as you can see, they're getting ready to do something, obviously, because in just one day, that 10 million, 40 million, that's nearly half of what was minted at full stack back in October. So definitely more to be investigated, guys. Again, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out this chart. But now let's get into how this could go extremely well for Ripple by looking at examples from other networks who have incorporated stablecoins into their ecosystem. How Ripple could soon get a slice of this $200 billion stablecoin market? Well, to get the best example, we ain't got to go that far. All we got to do is go up the road to our friends at Stellar Development Foundation. So a few years ago, you may not have heard about this, but Stellar wrangled in MoneyGram from Ripple. Interesting, right? Alongside their relationship with Circle, the biggest stablecoin player in the United States. They incorporated USDC. They gave people access to USDC on another chain outside of Ethereum and some of the other offerings. Stellar was one of the first outside of Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken, to create that USDC bridge. That ultimately led to the applications, the MoneyGram access, and several other things that would pop up from this collaboration. The work in Ukraine, UNHCR. A lot came from just establishing the relationship, Stellar establishing the relationship with Circle. A lot came out of that. So that's just one example. Another asset that we cover very frequently on the channel, the king of trade finance, XDC. You may remember this story back in May of this year. Monetary Authority of Singapore regulated custodian Propine introduces support for Fathom Dollar FXD stablecoin on XDC. If you weren't with us, we covered the introduction of the FXD stablecoin on the XDC network and discovered that it would be a crucial tool used in trade finance, not liquidity, but funding. So that is another example of how the introduction of a stablecoin can magnify, insanely magnify, your network. Because I believe shortly after this, total value locked on XDC reached about $80 to $100 million. There was a lot of volume flowing through this arrangement. And then, just to add the icing on the cake here, let's talk about Hedera and their relationship with the Universal Digital Payments Network. The incorporation of stablecoins that will be issued on Hedera, thanks to their stablecoin studio, will also be compatible with the global network that is the UDPN. There are also 3 companies involved here: Hedera, UDPN, and MTech. So we get an example of the adoption model where you have the technology, the toolkit being Hedera. You have the independent fintech in MTech using the toolkit. That toolkit is also compatible with another fintech's payment system in the form of the Universal Digital Payments Network. It's a big puzzle. Small pieces, big puzzle. I used to say that all the time, man, and it still rings true to this day. And then in addition to that, guys, it calls into question Ripple's relationship in Europe. This is something I am very excited about, because we've already known Ripple has established several relationships in the European Union. Clear Junction is one. Tranglo may be the biggest. But I'm curious to see, because after, let's say we do get the approval from the New York Department of Financial Services. After that, Gensler resigns. The case gets tossed out, dismissed, gets handled. We'll use that word. The very next hurdle for Ripple and this stablecoin will be falling under this regulation, which is set to go in effect fully, I believe, at the end of this month. People have to start lining up with these regulations by the end of this month. So maybe looking a little bit too far ahead here, but this space moves fast, and you really got to approach it. You got to play chess, not checkers, when you're dealing with crypto. Now, we talked a little bit about their European Union relationships. I mentioned Clear Junction was a company that got involved with Ripple back in June. This is going to deal with cross-border payments in the UK and the EU. The UK also has pretty forward-thinking policies when it comes to stablecoins. And I read a headline this morning as well. Brazil included stablecoins into their financial markets infrastructure legislation that they're getting ready to prepare for 2025. So we already know Ripple tied in Brazil. On top of that, Tranglo, like I mentioned, they specifically use RippleNet, XRP Ledger, ODL. Tranglo is one of the few Ripple partners that is truly deeply embedded. Some of their partners make use of one or maybe two of the offerings, but when I read into Tranglo, they seem to have encompassed themselves in all of Ripple's offerings. That makes them a very powerful ally. And they expanded into the European market. This was March of this year. Says here, Tranglo, prominent partner of Ripple and worldwide payment service provider, has advanced expansion strategy by entering the European market with the recent adoption of instant SEPA and its collaboration with the European fintech company InPay. They're going to transform cross-border payments throughout the continent. Partnership represents a major advancement for Tranglo's worldwide reach, especially in Europe and Asia. And yes, this does call into question the stablecoin environment in Asia. I just told you, DTC Pay, company out in Hong Kong, they're looking to go strictly stablecoin. So when you're looking at this stablecoin for Ripple, don't look at it as a direct threat to XRP. Look at this as Ripple's stablecoin is the Silver Surfer to XRP's Galactus. All the nerds in the audience, y'all know what I'm talking about. If that didn't sit with you, well, hey, you must not be a 90s baby. But that's what it is. That's what it is. The RLUSD stablecoin is the Silver Surfer to XRP's Galactus. When the stablecoins show up, you know the XRP ledger is right behind it. And you got to give kudos to Ethereum. That's fine. Ethereum has the established user base, so I understand from a business perspective why they went that direction. But other than that, you got this brand new, quote unquote, new to them, novel technology that is cheaper, faster, a lot more flexible than the other one. What would you do if you were a business owner and you had the opportunity to choose between the XRP ledger, faster, more flexible, more scalable, and the Ethereum one that's already being used? It's clogged up, it's expensive, it's clunky. Which one would you pick? I'll let you answer that in the comments. But we're on RWA.xyz right here, guys, just to give you an idea of another very important element that will be magnified once this RLUSD has launched and is active on the XRP ledger. You see these companies here: Circle, Athena, Binance, Sky, First Digital, USDD. It's a terrible story. Paxos, Frax Finance. So another important thing you need to understand about a stablecoin coming to the XRP ledger is that stablecoins are the #1 investment vehicle for real world assets. And that's been the talk of the town recently. Well, not recently, for going on about 2 years now, officially. RWA, y'all knew, whoever launched this website knew something was coming. But RWAs are it right now. And the #1 investment vehicle are stablecoins. And that's what I'm showing you here. And when you look around to the networks, you see the distribution by network. A lot of things are on Ethereum, about 45 RWAs. But you can see there are other chains beginning to creep up. They're beginning to creep up. Now, if you want to do the technical comparison between XRP and all of these chains, once people start to realize how much faster their product is getting launched on the XRP ledger as opposed to some of these other networks, I'll say this: give it 12 months and XRP will be one of the top 5 assets on RWA.xyz. I'll say it again: in 12 months, XRP will be a top 5 asset on RWA.xyz, right next to its distant cousin, Stellar Lumens. I guarantee you that, guys. But I talked about how Ripple is entering a ferocious competition with this stablecoin market. And I want to show you what the established, incumbents to the market have already done to highlight the fact that Ripple has to be very strategic with this launch, with this stablecoin in general, because Yes, we can see the potential. We've gone over the benefits, but there are a number of hurdles that they're going to have to overcome if they want to compete just in the United States alone. Of course, we got to deal with the regulatory things. But as far as competition goes, Circle, they have established the technology. Now, I know we're all dealing with technology here, but when I mean technology, what I mean by technology is that they have flagship products like the cross-chain transfer protocol that's allowing any network to pull in USDC. You also have, of course, that we mentioned earlier, the relationship with Stellar Lumens. I'm really waiting to see if they're going to pull something off like that with another chain. Only time will tell. Well, you can see also the affiliations that Circle has acquired over the years. BlackRock, Coinbase, BNY Mellon is actually their custodian. Now, interesting connection here. The wisdom tree, wisdom tree or wise tree? Wisdom tree. The wisdom tree ETF, as a matter of fact, since we're over there, let me just show you. This wisdom tree ETF, Bank of New York Mellon, BNY Mellon, it's going to be the trust administrator. Interesting. Very interesting. But I show you these things to give you an idea on what it will look like if Ripple does this successfully. Outside of USDC, which you know is on multiple chains, another big player in the US stablecoin space is Paxos. And you can see who they're trusted by: PayPal, Venmo, MasterCard, Mercado Libre out in Brazil, Stripe, Nubank, owned by Warren Buffett, and Interactive Brokers. We talked a lot about Paxos and their new relationship with Stellar XLM last month. They plan to extend their stablecoin offerings to the XLM network. So now Stellar has Circle, it will have Paxos, it will have Pax Gold, and whatever other stablecoin offering they look to launch in the next 12 to 24. There's also the combined relationship between Paxos, MasterCard, and Stellar. Stellar was incorporated into MasterCard's crypto credentials program. Now, I'm not trying to make this a Stellar episode, but XLM is the perfect example of what Ripple could look like now that they have their own stablecoin. Because that's the key differentiator, is that XLM had to import one. Could have honestly built one, but they had to import one, which was okay, the cheaper route. But with Ripple having its own, that gives them a bit more of a leg up, in my opinion, and it allows for a similar setup to Fathom and XDC, where the stablecoin is strictly tailored for cross-border payments. It's tailored for currency conversions, which we know that is what the XRP ledger at its foundation was built to do. And it also opens the door for a heap ton of other products, because you also have Gemini, right? And I was looking at Gemini. They have a stablecoin, Gemini USD. They offer a credit score. You can get a credit card with Gemini, and I'm pretty sure you can use your stablecoin on the credit card. Like, I'm still digging into it, but that's, again, another use case with stablecoins that is fairly new. All the more reason why I think this stablecoin is the silver surfer for XRP. This is a newer stablecoin company that hit the market, First Digital, but they're making waves already. They have the Web3 market on lock. As you can see here, they are on, Ethereum, BNB, and SWI. That's what I would call those chains, the lords of Web3. That's where all your games, your meme coins, things like that exist. So there is massive potential if Ripple does this strategically. However, if they fail, if they drop the ball on this, we have examples of that too. So a while back, I used to cover an asset called VeChain, and VeChain launched a stablecoin. I ain't heard nothing about this stablecoin since. Not a word. Not a word. And I don't even want to pull up the Block Explorer because it doesn't show anything. But this stablecoin was promised to hit the VeChain market and be incorporated in all of its supply chain applications that no longer exist, and its Web3 that I don't hear about. But it's a sad story because I was really behind VeChain a lot. And I felt like, much the same way I feel about RLUSD, that this could have revolutionized that entire ecosystem. But they didn't have a focus. It's another reason why I got out of VeChain. But an even worse example. Oh man, Mr. Justin's son. People still don't know what this stablecoin is backed by. Is it algorithm? Is it asset backed? What are the assets backing it? I'm sure there are Tron loyalists who have, attempted to debunk everything about this stablecoin. But listen, I'm gonna say it like this. Let's just be glad they didn't launch the RLUSD on Tron. Because as a network, Tron works. It does. When I got into the space and I wanted to learn DeFi, I did it on Tron because it was the cheapest, it was the fastest, and it was the easiest. Just lend, just swap. Yeah, that was me, right? But with all of the negative connotations attached to this man, this is another example of how this stablecoin can backfire. But outside of that, we always have to remember the Holy Grail here. Because a record was set in November that I haven't seen talked about yet. Adjusted on-chain trading volume of stablecoins reached $1.7 trillion. Now, this is obviously debatable because I remember a few months back where it was revealed that a lot of stablecoin activity is between bots, and there's another large heap of activity that comes from the testing environment that sometimes is included in these valuations that may throw the numbers off. However, based on the market conditions that we've had, I'm gonna lean on this for a minute and see where it goes, because the ultimate umbrella over all of this, guys, especially if we're talking Ripple, is the fact that we now have the most pro-crypto Congress in history. The president, the guy who's going to be president in less than a month, a little over a month, has been praising crypto for the better part of 2 years. And now, top players in the space, Coinbase executives predict that stablecoin regulations will also be in line after Trump's inaugurated. There is a bill he mentions here. We'll scroll down to it. Yeah, Clarity for Payment Stablecoins Act says that's going to be one of the first. That one is being supported by Mr. Toomey, Patrick Toomey, and McHenry. Yeah, I got faith in those guys. But that's the overarching umbrella. Article got X'd out. But you guys see what I'm getting at here. This stablecoin for Ripple has the potential to do wonders for the XRP ledger, and I would not fear it replacing XRP at all. So with that, guys, don't forget to download your starter kit. Absolutely free. Save you years of time. And with that, y'all know what time it is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.